Welcome to Midnight Story. Close your eyes now. Let your body sink a little deeper into the bed. Feel the weight of the day leaving your shoulders, your arms, your hands. There's nothing you need to do, nothing you need to hold on to. Just listen, and let my voice carry you across the dark Pacific, to a small island, in 1943. The lighthouse is called Kauai Point Light. But the three people who live here simply call it home. There is Elias, 63 years old, keeper for 41 of them. His hands are maps of salt and rope and wind. There is Ruth, his wife, who came to the island as a bride in 1924 and never wanted to leave the sound of the sea. And there is Thomas, 19, a Coast Guard radioman sent here because the war needed every quiet corner watched. They are the night watchers. Every evening, just before sunset, the ritual begins. Elias climbs the iron stairs, slowly, one step breathing in, one step breathing out. His knees ache from a lifetime of climbing, but he never complains. At the top he lights the great lamp, a soft kiss of flame to wick, and the beam begins its endless circle, circle, after circle. A heartbeat of light across black water. Ruth is below in the kitchen. The smell of bread baking, coffee, a single lamp glowing gold on the table. She hums an old Hawaiian song her mother taught her, the same song she sang to her babies who are now far away raising their own. Thomas sits by the radio, headphones on, copying faint Morse from ships he will never see. His fingers are quick, but his heart is slow tonight. He is homesick for Iowa cornfields he swore he hated a year ago. The war feels very far away here, and very close at the same time. Sometimes, in the darkest hours, the radio brings voices of boys calling, Mayday. And Thomas writes the coordinates with a hand that trembles, knowing submarines prowl these waters like silent wolves. But most nights the only sound is the beam turning, the clock ticking, and the endless breathing of the Pacific. One night in October, the fog came in thick as wool. Elias could not see the beam leave the lens. It simply vanished 10 feet beyond the glass. The foghorn groaned every 30 seconds, a lonely giant calling into nothing. Ruth brought blankets to the watch room. She draped one over Elias's shoulders without a word. Then one over Thomas, who had fallen asleep with his head on the radio desk, pencil still in hand. She stood between them, one hand on her husband's back, one hand on the boy's shoulder. And felt the same quiet love for both. Elias reached up and covered her hand with his rough one. Thomas stirred, felt the touch, and pretended to keep sleeping, because the warmth felt like his mother's hand, and he didn't want it to leave. No one spoke. There was nothing to say that the fog hadn't already said for them. Weeks later, a storm arrived with Christmas. The wind screamed around the tower like a living thing. Waves threw themselves against the rocks far below, white explosions in the dark. The lamp still turned, because Elias would not let it stop. He and Thomas took turns climbing the stairs every hour to wipe spray from the lens. Their oilskins dripped on the iron steps, their faces raw from salt. Ruth stayed in the kitchen, baking cinnamon rolls because it was Christmas Eve. And because sugar and warmth are their own kind of resistance. At midnight the three of them sat together in the watch room, too tired to go down. Sharing a single plate of rolls and 3 mugs of coffee gone lukewarm. Thomas pulled a small harmonica from his pocket, a gift from his grandfather. He played, Silent Night, softly, the notes trembling more from cold than fear. Ruth leaned her head on Elias's shoulder. Elias rested his cheek on Ruth's hair. Thomas kept playing until the song became only breath and memory. And the light kept turning, circle after circle, telling every ship that might be out there, you are not alone. Spring came quietly. One morning the supply boat brought letters. And news that the war in the Pacific had turned, slowly, like a great ship changing course. Thomas received orders, reassignment to San Francisco, then home. The night before he left, the three of them walked down the narrow path to the rocky beach. The moon was almost full, laying silver on the water. Thomas picked up a flat stone and skipped it, 1, 2, 3, 4 times before it sank. He laughed, surprised at the sound of his own laughter. Ruth hugged him, hard, the way mothers do when they are trying not to cry. Elias shook his hand, then pulled him into a rough embrace instead. They stood there a long time, 3 silhouettes against the moonlit sea. Thomas whispered, I'll never forget this place. Elias answered, voice like gravel and honey. This place won't forget you either, son. Years later, long after the war, an old man returned to Kauai Point. His hair was white, his step slow, but his eyes still bright. The lighthouse had been automated, the house empty. But the beams still turned every night, faithful as ever. He walked inside, up the iron stairs one more time, and stood where he once fell asleep under Ruth's hand. He reached out and touched the cool glass of the lens, and spoke to the quiet. "Thank you, for keeping me safe. And for teaching me what home really sounds like." Far below, the Pacific breathed its ancient lullaby. In, and out, in, and out. And now, wherever you are tonight, let that same lullaby find you. Feel the sheets cool against your skin. Feel your breath slow, deeper, easier. The light is still turning somewhere, watching over you. Elias, Ruth, Thomas. They are watching too, from whatever quiet shore they reached long ago. You are safe. You are held. You are deeply, deeply loved. Let everything go now. If you are new my channel, please subscribe and press bell icon. Drift, drift, into the gentle arms of sleep. Good night.